Welcome to Thinking is Contagious. Going to give you a quick update on some thoughts here. Number one, I am looking forward, like I said, Thursday. Hopefully, we get before judges regarding some of these allegations. I have listened to many of the witnesses speak, and undoubtedly, there are witnesses out there that are ready, willing, and able to discuss what they viewed as fraudulent undertakings, fraudulent directions given, fraudulent mandates, and situations that made them very uncomfortable as to the validity of this election. So we have these questions. These questions remain out there and need to be addressed. But I'll tell you how deceitful the media is. And this is going to be Neil Cavuto of Fox News, who's never been, he's not a Trump guy. I mean, I believe he's got a deep-seated dislike of Trump, but I could be wrong. I don't have any evidence of that other than the way he comports himself. But nonetheless, Barr came out and said that a couple of days ago that he hadn't seen any evidence of fraud, voter fraud. Then he walked it back yesterday or this morning and said that they had not been privy to all the evidence, as what the White House had claimed. He said that Barr was speaking sort of at a school at this point because he had not been privy to all the evidence. So he walked it back. Cavuto today, in one of his interviews, quotes that Barr said that there's no significant election, systemic election fraud to in any way impact the election. So it shows you the ill will. It shows you the attempt to deceive, the attempt to take you in a certain direction, the attempt to make you think that this is done with. It's not done. I mean, it doesn't look like Trump has really much of a chance, in my view, because the cards are stacked against him and because the system itself has prepared for this for 4 years. The system has created this quicksand for Trump to drown in, and the system has infiltrated itself via its corruption into the mainstream of America, the democracy, the vote, the media representation, the direction to think in, thinking for people and directing people as to what to think about, keeping information from people. I don't know if you saw the Project Veritas, but they've got quite a bit of audio regarding CNN and the inside conversations, all the way from the president right on down, their morning staff meetings. And it's pretty evident that the direction is attack Trump no matter what. And I think that you see it. And I think CNN, it's got a little life left. It is a repugnant organization. And most of the journalists on it are not journalists at all. They are racist, fear-mongers, haters, anti-capitalist, anti-American, talking heads who have been fed the narrative and are spewing forth their venom out of ignorance, lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, and absolutely no knowledge of American history. So you've got a mess in CNN, and I don't think that they're going to be around very long. I also want to talk about cronyism. I don't know if you saw Rand Emanuel now is going to be in Biden's cabinet. Rahm Emanuel is a failed politician who put Chicago on its knees. Lori Lightfoot has decapitated Chicago, but Rahm Emanuel is a corrupt politician who has no clue as to anything. And he is being named, just like John Kerry's being named. What Biden is doing is putting in a bunch of academics, putting in a bunch of people who think that they know how the world works, how economics works. They don't know anything. All they know is what books tell them. They're academics. They have no real world experience, no real world knowledge. They've never had to go out and make a living based on their knowledge and expertise. What they've done is they have been career leeches, living off the government tea, living off the taxpayer dollar. And these are the people that are going to be running the Biden show. Again, no bigger mistake could ever be made than Janet Yellen. She has no concept of economics other than throw money at the problem, give away money. That's her solution of how to help the poor, the middle class, the lower middle class. Throw money at them, not make them earn money, educate them to make money, lead them in direction where they can make money. If the Democrats and the liberals were so concerned with elevating people to a better employment bracket, employment demographic, what they would do, why are they fighting so hard against school vouchers? School vouchers is the solution to improving the education in this country. With a school voucher, you force the public school system, which is run by the unions, the school unions, which is completely against the best interest of the student, as you evidenced by their push for lockdowns. Those push for lockdowns were only for one reason, to protect the teachers, had no inkling of concern for the students. And again, we go back to what has been a constant theme in this show, which is collateral damage. It's all acceptable. Anything's acceptable to get rid of Trump. All collateral damage. And we see it in the schools. We see the shutdown of the schools. We see all of a sudden the fraud Fauci. He is a fraud. I've said it from the beginning. I've caught a lot of slack about this. Okay? Dr. Fauci is a fraud. He has vacillated. He has gone back and forth. And you know what? One thing is to say we have learned as we have gone along from this pandemic, and therefore there's been a change of direction. That would be fully acceptable because that is exactly correct. That does happen. When you come across as the almighty, the preeminent word, and you refuse to look at scientific evidence, if anyone scoffed at the science, it was Dr. Fauci. And I think Rand Paul has been very clear on this since May, when he says he has made numerous attempts to have Fauci look at the evidence about children and about closing schools and about it is counterproductive, does not work, and has no benefit. And Dr. Fauci refused to look at it. Refused to look at it. Google Rand Paul. Listen to his conversations on this. Fauci refused to look at it. Now, all of a sudden, now the elections are over, okay, and now we can open the schools. Close the bars and open the schools. Fauci is a fraud. He always has been a fraud. I've never been a fan of his. And all these accolades and all this Fauci worship that goes on in this country is absurd. Absurd. The guy has been wrong way more than he has been right. But anyway, The cronyism that Biden is implementing, it's just indicative of life in the swamp. The the Georgia runoffs are critical, and I feel very confident that we're going to be fine with the outcome. I feel there's enough centrist Democrats to prevent socialism, and it will give us this 2-year period until the midterms. At the midterms, a statement will be made. A huge statement will be made. The Republicans will gain control in the House and the Senate at the midterms. There's no doubt in my mind. And the mandate will be clear. Biden will be Kamala Harris and Biden will be lame ducks. If she hasn't already pulled the praying mantis on him by that time, which I think is a very good shot that she will devour him very shortly. So Kamala Harris will be facing a Republican Senate and House during her last 2 years as president of the country. So she's in trouble, and she is an obnoxious, unlikable person. She has no shot of winning the election. So in a lot of ways, this will bode well for the Republicans in 2024, especially if you have Kamala as the incumbent running against a Republican. Then the Republicans can basically throw anybody out there and they're going to win. So things are shaping up. If Trump doesn't if the voter fraud, not Trump, if the voter fraud is not allowed to be brought out, and we have to put up with a couple of years of this, it's not ideal. It's going to set us back. These trade deals that he's going to undo, the green deals that he wants to implement. Janet Yellen, please pray that doesn't happen. But you got to take sometimes a little step back. It's like the market has been skyrocketing. It's got to take a little pause, a little tiny correction. Maybe we get that. People look at it and they go, you know what? Trump was actually pretty good. Look at this bozo Kamala Harris, what she's doing to our economy. Look what she's doing to our foreign affairs. Look what she's doing to our national security. Look at the chaos on the streets. When they see what Kamala Harris brings to the table, I think that this little step back, this little pause, this little correction will only lead to bigger market gains down the road for the Republicans. So hopefully the voter fraud is exposed, but if it's not, my thoughts on the game plan it's pretty clear. So keep the faith. This week will be big. We will hopefully have some more information as to what's going on, and keep your ears and eyes peeled as to what the updates are. Thank you. Have a good day.